I'm Robert Timmons, and you're watching Weekly Words.
Stop me, oh, somebody stop me, stop me, stop me, please, somebody stop me, stop me, stop me, oh, somebody stop me, and Lord, if I'm doing it.
Thank you for checking out this week's episode of Weekly Words. Are you ready for your blessing? Let's get started. So, maybe about 2 weeks ago, I was driving in my car, pulling up to work, and I was listening to Chance the Rapper. I was listening to his song, Blessings, and I was listening to the reprise version of it where he has Anthony Hamilton and a couple other singers on the track, and he raps his verse, and then the chorus is, are you ready for your blessing? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for your blessing? And I remember I was sitting there just thinking, yes, God, I'm ready for my blessing. Where is it? Give it to me. I'm ready. Because a blessing in lots of ways is a gift, right? And as humans, when do we really ever turn away a gift if it's something that is going to benefit us or something that's nice or something that we don't have to pay for? We would love to receive a gift. And as I'm sitting there thinking that, then, it repeats it and it says, are you ready for your blessing? And all of a sudden, I hear the question in a completely different light. Are you ready for your blessing? The first time I heard it as, do you want your blessing? But the second time I heard it as, are you prepared to receive your blessing? And that really just sunk into my mind and into my heart, into my spirit. And I was really thinking, wow, am I actually ready to receive the blessing, right? So for example, with maybe when you're first learning to drive and stuff, if your parents wanted to bless you with a car, right? And they gave you that blessing, but you didn't have your license to drive it, then you're not ready for the blessing. And that blessing essentially goes to waste because you have the car, but you're not able to drive it. You're not able to utilize it. So you're not ready for the blessing. The way that you get ready for the blessing of receiving that car is going to driver's ed, getting your learner's permit, completing your drive time, taking the test and getting your license. And then at that point, you're ready to receive the blessing of that car because you can actually drive it. You can actually appreciate it. You can actually use it. So are you ready for your blessing? So when I thought about that and I'm listening to the song, it really just blew my mind. And I'm just sitting here thinking, am I actually ready for my blessing, right? In my mind, in order to be ready for your blessing, you have to be developing yourself, your character, your spirit, your discipline. You have to be getting things together so when the blessing comes, you can actually take it and run with it. You can embrace it. You can hold it and grab hold of it, and you can use it and utilize it, right? And that same idea that as a teenager, if you don't have your driver's license and your parents bless you with the car, you can't use it, right? You have to go through the discipline of learning how to drive so when you do receive that blessing, you can take it. And so as I was sitting there, I started thinking about, okay, in what areas of my life do I need to prepare myself for the blessing? And I want to challenge you guys to think about that as well, right? So maybe you're somebody that is praying and wants to be blessed with a significant other, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a husband, a wife, whatever the case may be. But are you actually ready to receive that relationship, right? Whenever you're in a relationship with someone that's serious and you're working towards marriage, you're no longer just caring about yourself, right? You can no longer be self-consumed with your own needs and your own desires. There's a whole other person that's now a part of your life, right? That's going to require sacrifice. That's going to require time. That's going to require energy. That's going to require someone being in your space. So are you really ready for that? Have you been developing your character, developing your heart, developing your mindset, preparing your finances or whatever the case is in order to have somebody else in your life, in your circle? Are you ready for your blessing? Or maybe you're looking for a financial blessing, right? I mentioned this last week when I was talking about God making trees, not tables, and being able to, use God resources to benefit ourselves. And so in that same capacity, if you were blessed with $1 million today, you could still end up broke if you didn't have the development of good financial responsibility, right? So in this time of you waiting for your financial blessing, it's important for you to understand how finances work and how you can fully utilize all of your money to the things not just that you want, but that you actually need and the payment of your bills and the things you need to survive, right? if you got $1 million today and you weren't prepared for it mentally, and then you can just go off and just blow it on ridiculous things, and then you're right back to where you started, broke, right? So in order to prepare yourself for that financial blessing, you have to have a clear understanding of your finances and a discipline in your finances in order to be able to actually utilize the new funds when they come in. Are you ready for your blessing? And then maybe you're someone looking for a job or looking for a promotion, right? But have you actually been putting your best foot forward in the job that you currently have? Have you been showing up on time? Have you been putting your best foot forward? Have you been networking and making good relations so that the people at your current job can actually recommend you for the new job that you're applying to, right? Or maybe you're unemployed and you don't have a job, but you're looking for one. But have you been getting up at the time you will get up with a job? Have you been waking up at 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. and being productive all the way until 4 or 5 p.m. so your body and your mind can be used to working an 8-hour day? Because if you got the job all of a sudden, would you actually be able to cope for that, that corporate lifestyle? Or are you still staying up to 2 or 3 a.m. and waking up at 11? Are you actually ready for that blessing that you've been praying for and asking for? And maybe it's not necessarily a job or promotion, but maybe it's an idea, it's a dream, it's a desire that you have to have your own business or to start your own clothing line or to be an independent contractor, or whatever the case is. Have you actually, done your research and done what you need to do to prepare for that, right? Have you been putting money to the side? Have you been studying for whatever certifications you need? Have you been looking at your competitors? Have you been doing all these different things that's actually going to help you with your branding, with your image, with your success, with all these different things you're trying to do within the scope of your own business or your own merchandise, so that whenever the time comes for you to have it, that you can just go, right? Are you actually ready for the blessing? So to close everything off, because I think it's just so crazy to really think about if we're actually ready for the blessing that God has for us, right? I was on social media and I saw this meme or this quote, and it said, how many people want change? And everybody in the crowd raised their hand. And then underneath it said, how many people want to change? And nobody raised their hand. Right? Lots of times we're so ready to receive the blessing, right? But we don't want to put in the work behind it, right? But then if that's the case, we're never going to really be able to fully grasp it. We're going to have a car with no driver's license. So if you want to be able to take hold of the blessing, right, of the gift, of the goal, we have to work on our development. We have to work on our character. We have to work through those things that we need so that when the car comes, we have the license and we can drive. And we are fully prepared for the blessing and to make a change in our life. Are you ready for your blessing? All right, so question time. Just like every other week, I'm going to ask you guys a couple of questions. And again, I encourage you to think through them with your accountability partner. So let's get started. Question 1. How can you develop your character and your work ethic? How can you develop your character and your work ethic? Question 2. What is at least one thing you want to accomplish by the time 2018 is over? And how do you plan on accomplishing it? What is at least one thing that you would like to accomplish by the time 2018 is over? And how can you accomplish it? Thank you for checking out this week's episode of Weekly Words. I pray that you thoroughly enjoyed it and got something positive from it. If you have any suggestions for things for me to talk about in the future, feel free to email me at weeklywordsrt@gmail.com. Again, that's weeklywordsrt@gmail.com. All right, I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you back here next time.
Stop me, oh, somebody stop me, stop me, stop me, please, somebody stop me, stop me, stop me, oh, somebody stop me, and Lord, if I'm doing it wrong, then please stop me.